What's up, tribe? This video is just a continuation of my last video where I talk about my horrible morning due to an intense IBS attack. If you haven't watched that video, please check it out because I'm sure many of you can relate. But for now, please enjoy this Q&A video where I answer a couple of your questions. I'm planning to answer more of your questions, so please keep them coming. Alright, enjoy. The first question is from Shiv. I hope I'm saying that right. Please excuse me if I'm not. So Shiv asked, he says, I sleep 7 to 8 hours and wake up at 5 to go to school on a normal school day, but my stomach always feels awful. I don't know what it is, but it just feels weird, and I go to the bathroom like 4 times before first period starts, which is 7:30. This happens even when I'm at home on the weekends or during this quarantine. When at home, I go less, but my stomach feels so weird and it gurgles and makes sounds just like on the school days. Whenever I sleep in, though, until at least 10 a.m., my problems aren't that bad. Any idea how to fix this? Please let me know if I need to explain better. Thanks. By the way, this is still happening after trying low FODMAP diet and other lifestyle changes as well, if that relates. None of which have improved this. That's a really good question, and thank you so much, Shiv, for sharing your question with me and the rest of the tribe. Mornings for me are usually the worst. There's a couple of things that I do to help me manage my mornings a little bit better. The first thing that I do, or that I make sure to do, is I don't eat too late at night. Now, I make sure not to eat at least 2 hours before bedtime, is my point. When you eat close to bedtime, like if you eat and then go right to bed, go right to sleep afterwards, you're just allowing that food to sit in your system and not being properly digested. Gravity does play a force in digestion, or does have a play in digestion. So, you do have to be in a certain position. You have to be upright to properly allow your body to digest the food, right? So if you're just laying down flat, that food is just sitting there, and we need our bodies to digest the food properly in order to minimize the triggers. The second thing that I do, is I actually sleep with a wedge pillow. So a wedge pillow, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a pillow that allows you to sleep at an incline. And a doctor recommended sleeping with the wedge pillow for my acid reflux. So, I've been sleeping with the wedge pillow for at least 7 to 8 years now. I don't know. It's been a long time. I haven't slept without a wedge pillow in a long time. It's the only way I can properly sleep and feel comfortable, and deal with less nausea in the morning. So that's another tip for you guys who didn't know about that, who don't have a wedge pillow or who don't use a wedge pillow. If you deal with a lot of nausea, especially in the mornings, consider buying a wedge pillow, because that has definitely helped keep my acid to a minimum and keeps it to where it needs to be. Because when you deal with acid reflux, a lot of that acid is just coming right back up into your throat, into your esophagus, and you just feel nauseous. You feel just you get a weird taste in your mouth, so on and so forth. So a wedge pillow minimizes that. Again, it allows you to sleep at an incline, so you're keeping all of your fluids down. So that's, those are my two main tips that has worked for me. But another thing that I would like to suggest, especially since you're in school, and dealing with your IBS is just super tough for you, and trust me, I get it. I think you should definitely talk to your doctor and make sure to have a doctor's note with you at all times, if possible, just so that you can kind of remind your teachers and whoever else needs to know about your condition that mornings are just the toughest times for you, and you might end up showing to school late, you might end up showing up to class late, but don't fault you for it because you're dealing with a chronic illness. So if you could get a doctor's note, if you could get your parents to back you up, whatever it takes to make your mornings a little easier to deal with, do it. I think getting a doctor's note and giving it to your teachers or principal, whoever matters, I think that could do you a lot of good. Maybe the school could give you some accommodation for your chronic illness. You know what I mean? They might set you up with a private bathroom. You never know. They might set you up with a private room to where, you know, if you need some alone time to kind of get through your symptoms, they'll probably provide that space for you. So yeah, there's just a lot of things you could do to ease your morning anxiety, and it's really about communication. You know, communicate as much as you can, whoever you need to communicate with, and make your life easier. You know, don't just accept things for the way they are. You know, part of managing our symptoms is changing our lifestyle in a way that best fits us, right? And allows us to properly and best manage our symptoms, you know? So that's what it's about. So if you could change your lifestyle in a way that works best for you, do that, you know? Just communicate, you know? It took me a while to figure out what works best for me in regards to my mornings. Again, it got to a point where I couldn't work in the mornings. I had to start changing my schedule around. I started working later in the afternoon. I started even going to class. I started choosing class schedules towards the afternoon because mornings are just my worst, you know? So if you're able to change your schedule up that best fits you, man, do that. All right. So yeah, those are my suggestions. You know, the first one is don't eat too late before bedtime. Also, sleep with a wedge pillow to keep the nausea at a minimum. Keep your acid reflux at a minimum. And the third thing is just communicate. I guess that's the third thing. And the fourth thing is change your lifestyle in a way that best fits you. So let's move on to the next question. All right, guys. So I'm going to answer the next question, or the last question of the video. But remember, I will continue to answer more of your questions and in the upcoming vlogs that I plan to post. All right, so keep asking your questions. All right, I'm going to answer more of those in my vlogs. So next question is from Alicia Haley. I hope I said that right. Alicia Haley. She asks, hey everyone, speaking of jobs, I'm currently in a full-time role which has its stressors and can be really busy during summertime. Has anyone got any suggestions for work/jobs that are lower stress and can assist the management of IBS? That's a really good question. So pretty much she's just asking all of us, not just me, any suggestions on jobs that are lower stress. I have a few suggestions, but I think it really depends on, you know, the person, on their personality, what kind of jobs they're used to, what kind of jobs they're willing to work. And that, you know, is really just a matter of perspective. There could be somebody who's able to do, let's say, construction with their IBS. I beg to differ. I look at construction or physical, heavy jobs that require a lot of physical labor to be pretty taxing on my IBS. So it really, again, it depends on the kind of person you are. I'll give a few examples on the jobs that I've worked in the past that I felt were pretty lower stress in comparison to the other jobs that I've worked. I worked at a UPS store one time, and that for me was somewhat of a lower stress job. Now, yes, it is a job that requires physical labor. Not too much of it, but enough of it to be taxing on your body, on your IBS. So in that sense, it wasn't the best job for me, but I did have an understanding with my team and my boss, which made the job a lot easier to deal with. So if I was dealing with an IBS flare-up and I needed a moment to just sit down or to just, you know, be away for a second, they allowed me to do that. Another great thing is we also had our private bathroom, so I didn't have to share a bathroom with somebody every time I had to use one, which was great. So that made the work environment a little easier to deal with as well. You know, and I guess, again, just having that communication, that understanding with my team and my boss that I am suffering from a chronic illness. You know, there's times when I'm going to feel this way, and there's going to be times when I'm going to feel this way, and I'm going to need, you know, that extra time to deal with these symptoms, to deal with these things. Basically, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to say, finding a job that best suits you and your needs to best manage your chronic illness. You know, and you know that's going to take a while, you know, finding the right kind of job. it's almost like not only, you know, are you going in for job interviews and they're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them, you know. So that's important too to keep in mind. It's just a different perspective to have, you know, when having a chronic illness, because you really have to put yourself first. You have to put your health first in all sense of the word. I mean, both mental and physical health matters here. You have to just be considerate of yourself in every way possible, man. So, you know, don't just settle for a job that's going to pay you a lot of money. Settle for a job that's really going to understand what you're going through, that's really going to have your best interests at heart, and accommodate you as best as possible, right? So that for me is what I consider a lower stress job, a job that is very minimal on the physical labor part. Also a job where, you know, the environment, meaning the people and your boss, you know, have just an understanding of what you're going through, and you're able to communicate what you're going through, and no one is there to make you feel bad about it. Hey, Alicia asked this question to all of us, so you guys feel free to answer that question too. What do you feel like is a lower stress kind of job for those of us who suffer from this kind of chronic illness, whether it's IBS, IBD, whatever, you know? That pretty much wraps up this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share this video with the rest of your IBS friends. Anybody you think could benefit from this video or from any of my content, all right? I could really use your support here. And again, let me know what you guys think about this video. I'll get back to you guys later, all right? So as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, be surrounded by nothing but positive vibes. Peace.